Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're going and seeing PlayStation in a little bit of a crisis. Now, as you guys probably know, PlayStation's been doing relatively good. A lot of console sales. We're now having the anticipated PlayStation 5 Pro hype. And at this current moment, I'm excited for the future of PlayStation. Like, we are maybe expecting some leaked handhelds. And overall, just, they've had some pretty good solid games this console generation. God of War, Horizon, Spider-Man. And of course, we also have Astrobot coming out very, very soon, which I think I'm actually kind of excited for. But one big issue right now is we're seeing the executives, the higher-ups, kind of realizing that there is a little bit of a problem. Now, we do have a lot of really fun IPs, such as, say, Last of Us, such as, say, God of War, such as all these other various games, but there's a few issues with it. And that's on the regards of a lot of these games are being remakes, remasters, and resold, and I do think there's a bit of a fatigue when it comes to that, especially when it comes to The Last of Us, and as well, people kind of saying that we're not getting as many IPs as we should be utilizing. Like right now, we know there's a lot of different games out there that we have been looking for, we've been excited for, that's been sitting around for a long time, and well, it's just kind of sad because we are waiting for something new to come out. We have these old IPs that everyone's waiting for very patiently, and it kind of makes me a little bit sad. So we're going to talk about the fact that it seems like PlayStation and Sony right now are in kind of a crisis mode, that there's issues going on, and they have to kind of go and fine tune some stuff, because we can't have another Concord, we can't go below another $200 million, and even right now the executives are stating that this is a big problem. So let's go talk about it. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below, and hope you guys are excited for some more. There's probably be a lot of news these next upcoming few months, so I'm excited for that. So very high level of this, I want to go and say that there is a lot of games. Like, in my current opinion, PlayStation's had a lot more better first-party titles than Xbox or even Nintendo these past few years. Even if we're just kind of putting on Horizon, God of War, Spider-Man, which is kind of basic and whatever, they're still good. They're still good games, and people like that. Xbox has made a few cool games, such as Starfield, so I don't want to count them completely out, and we're still waiting for games like Fable and a lot of other various things coming out too, which I am personally excited for. Not to be a hater, but there is a lot of IPs right now that basically Sony just is not taking advantage of. With like Killzone, we have Resistance, Astrobot, which they are finally diving on into. Horizon, all the Horizon games. There's a multiplayer that was rumored for that too as well. Same with the Last of Us factions as well, which got canceled. We also did have Ghost of Tsushima, the next Ghost of Tsushima, which was rumored. A brand new Uncharted, a brand new God of War, Twisted Metal. Why are they not utilizing that, especially with the success of their TV shows? Sly Cooper, one of my favorite game series of all time. Make that a brand new PS5 version. Ratchet & Clank did okay, did really bad because there wasn't as many PS5 on the install base, but still, even more Ratchet & Clank games. We have like Ape Escape, we have Wipeout, we have all of these different games that have been on PlayStation's IPs. And for whatever reason, it seems like right now, they're just not taking advantage of these. Probably Killzone is probably the number one that a lot of people realize that there's not a fosterable FPS game. And this kind of stems back to the whole Call of Duty issue. As you guys remember, Xbox does own Call of Duty and Overwatch and a few other games as of right this second, and well, they don't have a competition with it. Granted, they still have like 10 years to do it, and I'm sure maybe Concord was meant to be some of that competition, but even right now, the Sony's CFO is saying the company just doesn't have enough IPs. And this is where things get scary. Because it's kind of true. Like, we have the IPs that are dormant, and we don't necessarily know what's being worked on and what isn't, but we do need variety. There has to be some longevity, especially when it comes to console games. Now, I do think the PS5 is going to be doing well. I do think with the PS5 Pro, with Monster Hunter coming out, GTA 6, now that we've kind of known that they might have the marketing rights, which is a huge video. Check that out on the channel from yesterday. That was a big one. It's kind of a big topic point, but we need something new. Like, there's basically no new games this year, besides Astrobot, and we just don't have any new IPs or old IPs that are being reinvigorated, and we need that right now. So basically, Sony doesn't think it has enough original intellectual property. In an interview with the Financial Times, Sony Chief Financial Officer Hiroki Totoki said that the company needs to put more of a focus in creating its own IPs moving forward, and that it's not just a specific sector, but throughout the entire company. And I agree. They try to focus a little bit on live service stuff, which I think went well. Good and bad. Helldivers, great. Concord, I don't think we even have to talk about how horrible that went. But once again, they've also been trying to do a lot of old school games, but they keep on just remastering old school games, which sells sells well, but people have a fatigue. They want something new, something to be excited for. And as you can tell by Concord, it's a very risky situation because we don't really know like what would work. Like they have to build an IP up. Saying whether it's for games, films, or anime, we don't have that many IPs that we fostered from the beginning. We're lacking the early phase of IPs, and that's an issue for us. And I do agree. They should have more incubation periods and take more risks. Throw $30 million on a company that make a cool indie game, maybe make it like a $30, $40 game, kind of how like Hellblade Sauna did, and then let it kind of grow. And if it does well, give it more funding. Like something like Astrobot did okay. They get more funding, they make a bigger game, and we can kind of go and test the waters to see if it's good. Concord wasn't really a proven studio with a proven game and a proven IP, and it did not deserve to have $215 million. And I think Sony right now is reflecting on that right now. Basically, Hotoki also added in the interview that Sony has been better at finding a global audience for content that has already become popular in their home market. So maybe kind of think an example, Black Myth Wukong. Sony didn't necessarily make that. They did all have the initial idea. Same with Genshin, to foster it. So they have a good eye for these games and what might be doing well. Versus Xbox, that's not. So from a gaming standpoint, Sony has a number of original active IPs for PlayStation. Franchises such as God of War, Horizon, Uncharted continue to be successful from Sony first-party developers. The company has also a number of dormant first-party titles, as I mentioned about, which we've seen Bloodborne, Killzone, SOCOM, Resistance, and like they have the IPs, they just have to go and foster it. But I went to even more bigger things because people are saying, once again, we have to bring back these original IPs. You have to find something to compete with Xbox. And as well, users like us, I want something special. Yeah, I've been playing Call of Duty for the last 15 years, but I want to play a new Call of Duty. Like we've seen X Defiant, that was cool. We've seen Apex and MOBAs and PUBG come out, also cool. But it's nothing specifically for PlayStation that's also kind of clicked. And once again with Concord, like they tried and they failed. So I don't want them to stop. Like that's a failure, sure, but Helldivers did great. So keep on just reinvesting. You're gonna have some winners and some losers. So basically they're saying right now, it might be a various of like how many games might be coming out or being worked on or whatever, and we still have old school games. Once again, they even mentioned more remakes and remasters. Until Dawn, great game. Once again though, rehashing IPs. Silent Hill 2, once again, good game, but rehashing IPs. And we need something new. There is nothing big even from these PlayStation events that are like, oh my god, exciting. And they do have an FPS crisis. Ever since they now lost Call of Duty, what do they do next? So Concord being the first game shown during the State of Play isn't something that has happened in a vacuum because they had nothing else to show for it. Ever since Microsoft announced its intention to purchase Activision, there has been a question mark hovering above the PlayStation brand. That being what's going to happen in the Call of Duty franchise and like what's going to happen now with Activision not being closely tied with PlayStation. And they're saying that during the regulation, they want to block it. This never had a chance to get it done. So they once again are realizing like crisis is in front of them. They need to do something different. Now, right now, PlayStation has a very strong lead. They have a lot more sales. GTA is probably going to do very well on PlayStation. You kind of play with your friends. More friends are probably going to be on PlayStation. PS5 Pro is going to get more hardware money. The Portal's doing good. Like overall, the console's doing great. But once again, software is what sells the hardware. And while they still have these cool IPs, the Spider-Mans, whatever, like they need something more and they just don't have a good FPS game. And this is where there's issues. Like definitely Helldivers kind of counted, but there wasn't a campaign. Like maybe for big updates, people return to it. I probably would, but there's not like a big branding growth for it. Like say versus Astrobot, that has potential. Versus like a Mario, a Zelda, like a Metroid Prime. We're always patiently waiting for these games. Even Halo, in all honesty. And that's what kind of sucks. They don't have that special FPS game. Maybe Killzone, sure. Like maybe, but it's been a very long time since we've even had a new one in the first place. And they just need something big. And like, yeah, there was other maybe things that we're testing on, like The Last of Us for factions. That could have been great. That could have been like a unique PvP game. That's maybe not a full FPS game, but it's dope. And as well, Killzone 2 was released in 2009, being a massive landmark moment because they had good exclusives, but they haven't just done anything with it. And right now they're still winning, but if you kind of sit too hard and you try to win too hard, you need to maintain that win. And now I welcome Xbox winning a little bit more. Like they're making good money with Activision right this second. They're doing okay, Game Pass, whatever. But I want competition to keep evolving the gaming landsphere. And we need something new, whether it's they work with Battlefield maybe and try to go have that be a direct competitor with EA and work with them directly for proper partnerships, maybe even exclusivities, who knows? That's a possibility. Or once again, do things like Killzone or try to work in other various games, Ghost Recon games, whatever, who knows? But they need something. And I think they're realizing this. Now, they're doing fine on their own. Single players, Helldivers, PC, hardware, all that. But once again, the FPS community is really big. They're consistent, and they need something that's not Call of Duty. Because every Call of Duty player and microtransaction and game time is making Xbox money. And at the end of the day, it's maybe okay. But if you want to go in the strictly purely perspective, there's a lot of dormant IPs that PlayStation needs to work on. So give me your thoughts and comments and everything down below. I appreciate y'all very much for watching. Subscribe if you guys are new. Leave a like and thoughts, comments down below. And just love you guys.